Thank you very much to ETAuto for the invitation. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, good morning. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I think there's hardly a topic these days that can be esteemed more important than electromobility, and I've been asked to deliver a few aspects on what the state of affairs in terms of electromobility is in my country, in Germany. As you will know, Germany is an important, rather important country in terms of automobile industry, and so electromobility is a hugely important country in Germany. And my guess would be that both India and Germany face very similar challenges when it comes to the electric vehicles, the electric vehicle infrastructure in both of our countries. Electromobility is a topic that not only is changing the automotive industry, but will have a lasting impact on our society, our economy, our climate, and shape the future of mobility in general. There's no question, electromobility is at a turning point. Worldwide, we are seeing an accelerated transformation that goes beyond the automotive industry and includes our entire infrastructure and our way of doing business. So please allow me to give you an overview on where we stand in Germany on electromobility today. A few points. The state of electromobility in Germany. Germany is known as one of the major automotive manufacturers in the world. Let's start with a look at the current state in Germany. As of August 31st, 2024, more than 2.5 million electric cars are registered in Germany, of which over 1.5 million are purely battery electric vehicles, and this despite the expiration of state subsidies. In August 2024, the share of new registrations of battery electric vehicles was 13.7%, a figure that makes us optimistic, but at the same time shows how much still needs to be done to achieve the German federal government's ambitious goals. These goals are for 2030, 15 million electric cars are to be on our roads by then. This requires not only the continuous improvement of vehicles, but above all, the expansion of an efficient and comprehensive charging infrastructure. Second point, the challenge of expanding the infrastructure. Electromobility offers us a unique opportunity to make our mobility sustainable and significantly contribute to climate protection. But we can only fully exploit this opportunity if we also create the necessary infrastructure that makes use of electric vehicles comfortable and attractive for everyone. Today, around 130,000 publicly accessible charging points are in operation in Germany. This number has more than doubled since 2021, which is an impressive progress. Particularly noteworthy is the number of fast charging points, which have now risen from about 9,000 to well over 25,000 today. The installed charging capacity has also more than doubled in the same period, from 2.0 to 6.5 gigawatts. But even if these figures are encouraging, we must not forget that they are only a start. Because the charging infrastructure is the lever we need to further advance electromobility in Germany and Europe. With the Charging Infrastructure Master Plan 2, the German federal government has set itself an ambitious goal. 1 million charging points should be available in Germany by 2030. 1 million. This is a gigantic goal that we can only achieve if the expansion of the charging infrastructure is massively accelerated. We currently have about 130 charging points, as mentioned, with one charging point for around 17 electric cars. That's a solid basis, but not enough. To expand to 1 million charging points by 2030, 2,600 new charging points would have to be installed every week. To achieve this, the expansion rate of the last 12 months must be more than tripled. This figure illustrates the magnitude of the tasks that we face. At the current rate, we could only provide around 400,000 charging points by 2030. That is a considerable distance from the 1 million charging points that would be necessary for comprehensive and demand-oriented supply. The charging infrastructure must be expanded above all in regions where electromobility is not yet available across the board. That is, especially in rural areas and in places that are important for long-distance journeys. This is not just about quantity, but above all about the quality and availability of the charging points. Fast charging must be available wherever vehicles travel longer distance, for example on motorways and main roads. A good example of the efforts to create a nationwide fast charging infrastructure is the so-called Germany network. It now comprises more than 1,000 locations where around 9,000 ultra-fast charging points have been installed, ensuring a reliable basic supply on medium and long distances. This network is being continuously expanded in order to offer a fast and uncomplicated charging infrastructure, even in remote regions and at remote traffic junctions. The Germany network is an important building block in designing the charging infrastructure in such a way that it meets the needs of users. The nationwide availability of fast charging points must therefore further be promoted in order to give drivers of electric cars the certainty that they are always within reach of a charging facility that will charge their vehicle in an acceptable time. The expansion of fast charging infrastructure is particularly important if you want to make the transition from combustion vehicles to electrical vehicles on a broad basis. Charging speed is a crucial factor, especially for those who travel a lot, whether for work or for private reasons. If we want to further increase the acceptance of electric cars, we must ensure that charging times are as short as possible and that charging infrastructure is available across all major routes, at rest areas, and in parking lots at major hubs, such as train stations and airports. Ultra-fast charging plays a key role in this. The technology makes it possible to charge electrical vehicles in the shortest possible time, so that the driver can restore the required range within 15 to 30 minutes, comparable to the refueling times of a conventional vehicle, at least almost. The development of this charging speed and the expansion of the corresponding infrastructure are therefore crucial to making electromobility accessible to everyone, especially for those who travel long distances. The responsibility for expanding the charging infrastructure lies not only with the state, but also with private companies and investors. Private operators of charging points must invest in the expansion in order to provide the required charging infrastructure quickly and efficiently. The state can play an important role through incentives and funding programs by not only investing in the expansion of the infrastructure, but also creating clear framework conditions for operators that facilitate access to the charging points and promote competition. These include measures such as promoting charging points in public facilities, municipal buildings, and companies that provide charging infrastructure for their employees. The provision of charging points in residential buildings and in residential areas is also an important aspect of making electromobility available across the board in urban areas. The integration of charging infrastructure in new buildings and the promotion of private charging points in existing buildings must be given greater focus. Another important point is the integration of the charging infrastructure into the existing power grids. The expansion of charging points must be synchronized with the development of the power grids and the provision of green electricity. It is crucial that the charging infrastructure not only grows in terms of the number of charging points, but that it is also efficiently integrated into the existing power grids and ensures the energy supply. This also means that we have to deal with issues of power grid capacity, load balancing, and the avoidance of power bottlenecks. In order to overcome these challenges, intelligent charging solutions are necessary that optimize power consumption while minimizing the loads on the grid. These include, among other things, smart charging, technologies that enable charging processes to be controlled based on time and location, thus helping to avoid peak loads. Ultimately, the expansion of the charging infrastructure is the decisive key to electromobility, continuing its remarkable march. A comprehensive, fast, and reliable charging infrastructure is essential to increase the acceptance of electric cars and drive the transformation in the transport sector. The federal government has already taken important steps to promote expansion, but we must continue to work hard and to expand the network further, make it faster, and above all, more widely available. If we master this challenge, then we can be sure that electromobility will not just remain a vision of the future, but a lived reality that will have a decisive impact on our everyday lives in the coming years. Third point I'd like to make, the role of automotive industry and technology. Electromobility is no longer just a trend, but a mass market. The German automotive industry has taken up the challenge and is investing heavily in the restructuring of its production capacities. By 2028, around 280 billion euro will be invested in research and development worldwide, and around 130 billion euros are earmarked for the construction and conversion of factories. This transformation of the industry is crucial if we want to achieve our climate goals. German manufacturers are now second in the world behind China, and they will produce more than 15 million battery electric vehicles by 2030. A variety of models is constantly increasing, from small cars to heavy commercial vehicles, which are increasingly powered by electricity. BEV trucks and BEV city buses are already ready for the market, and the area of BEV coaches is also being expanded further. Delhi, for example, has more electric buses in the public transport service than Berlin has public transport buses overall. One thing is clear: electromobility is technologically mature. The charging capacity and range are now so optimized that they will no longer represent any restrictions in everyday life. The models made or designed in Germany are not only technologically advanced, but also attractive to the general public. Further point: challenges and opportunities for the automotive industry. Despite the progress, we also see and face challenges. In particular, the question of a level playing field, which arises from global markets and the different support strategies of individual countries. The US and China are creating significant competitive advantages with major incentives for investments in battery cells and charging infrastructure, which could call into question Europe and Germany as a location. European battery production is a key area that is crucial for the future of electromobility. 12 battery cell factories are currently planned or under construction in Germany, with a total capacity of 337.5 gigawatt hours. Nevertheless, investments in Europe sometimes progress more slowly than in other markets, such as the US or China. It is therefore crucial that we in Germany continue to push ahead with the development of competitive European battery cell production in order to make electromobility independent and strong in Europe. Fifth point, support and role of funding programs. The German federal government has provided decisive support for the ramp-up of electromobility through various measures and funding programs. The environmental bonus and the innovation premium have boosted demand for electrical vehicles, and in addition, investments in charging infrastructure and the procurement of electrical buses and commercial vehicles have been massively promoted in recent years. In 2024 alone, 1.8 billion euro will be available in the federal budget to further advance the expansion of charging infrastructure and promote electromobility in the entire transport sector. These funding programs are a crucial lever for accelerating the transition to emission-free mobility. But we also know that the transformation can only be successful in the long term if the market conditions are right. Attractive prices for vehicles, a comprehensive charging infrastructure, and last but not least, affordable electricity prices, a big problem currently for us in Germany. Sixth point, summary of e-car registration figures from German and Indian manufacturers. In October 2024, new e-car registrations in Germany recorded a slight increase of 2% to close to 55,000 units. But BEV share remains low at 15.3%. In order to achieve the federal government's target of 15 million electric vehicles in the fleet by 2030, the number of new registrations would have to almost quadruple to 2.37 million annually. The German manufacturers continue to dominate the German market with a share of 72% of total new registrations, which represent an increase compared to the previous year, 65%. In the area of pure electric vehicles in particular, the German OEMs significantly increased their market share from 58% to 74%. In the case of plug-in hybrids, however, they lost 10 percentage points and now account for about 69% of the market. In contrast, the market share of Chinese manufacturers, including Geely and SAIC, in Germany is declining. Chinese brands, excluding Volvo, recorded a market share of 4.7% in October, reflecting a downward trend. Including Volvo, this share rises to 11.6%. The registration figures for plug-in hybrids show a mixed picture in Germany. After the subsidy expired at the beginning of 2024, there was a decline in private registrations, while new registrations in commercial vehicles remained strong at 42%, partly due to the loss of the environmental bonus. The German car manufacturers continue to dominate the electric market in Germany and Europe, both in terms of BEVs and overall. They have significantly increased their market share in pure electric vehicles, while Chinese brands have lost market share in Germany. In contrast, Indian manufacturers are not yet able to gain significant market share in the German market, even if they are on a growth path in some emerging countries. India as a model for sustainable development. India has the opportunity to drive electromobility in a unique way by combining the growth of the sector with sustainable development goals. India has one of the largest and fastest growing populations in the world. Increased use of electric cars can not only reduce air pollution in major cities, as was mentioned, but also address one of the most pressing challenges facing Indian society, inadequate air quality and negative health effects, as was also mentioned. In addition, India could play a leading role in the development and production of batteries, especially through the mining and processing of raw materials, such as lithium and cobalt, which are needed to make batteries. India has valuable resources and the expertise to establish itself as a global player in the field of battery production, which would benefit the country's economy. However, the challenges in India should not be underestimated either. Development of charging infrastructures remains one of the biggest hurdles to the adoption of electric vehicles. It is crucial that India rapidly expand charging infrastructure to meet the needs of a growing number of EVs. The expansion should not only focus on urban areas, but also include rural regions where the demand for EVs is also increasing. Another important aspect is the price of EVs. Many Indian consumers cannot afford the more expensive models, which makes the market for cheaper EVs and battery storage solutions all the more important. This is where Indian manufacturers such as Tata, Mahindra, and Ather have the opportunity to dominate the market with cost-effective and efficient solutions. Point 8, Germany as a partner for India. Germany is and remains an important partner for India in this transformation process, I am convinced. German manufacturers such as Volkswagen, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz have already started to expand their presence in India. Volkswagen, for example, produces numerous vehicles in India, and BMW and Mercedes-Benz have also announced their electric model ranges for the Indian market. This cooperation between German and Indian companies will not only promote technological progress, but also create jobs and contribute to economic development in India. At the same time, Germany can learn from India, especially in the area of sustainable mobility. The Indian approach to cost-effective solutions, efficient use of resources, and the expansion of renewable energy will be a valuable source of inspiration for us in Germany and Europe. In summary, electromobility has made a decisive breakthrough in Germany. With over 2.5 million electric cars and an ever-improving charging infrastructure, we are on the right track. But there's still a lot to do to achieve the federal government's ambitious goals. The expansion of the charging infrastructure must be pushed forward at full speed, and the automotive industry must continue to invest in research, development, and production in order to master the transformation to the electric vehicles marketplace of the future. Electromobility is one of the key challenges and opportunities of our time. It is the key to sustainable mobility and a clean future. Let us all work together on this transformation as companies, as governments, as societies. Thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to an interesting exchange of information and opinions on this conclave. I wish all participants a fruitful discussion and an excellent 2 days to come. Thank you very much.